because we kind of have to change some things here. I've got a Father's Day to open real quick, and I've got my up on the stand on my stand that I use for my spot and scope, my Vortex stand, and I think that moves that way. And that moves that way, and I hope it kind of stays there. Hey, whoever's on, welcome. We're playing. I got my Go Devil shirt on, so I look like a big fat egg with a bad skin disease. But it's comfortable. It's kind of warm. It's 83 degrees. It's actually really nice. So, I'm not using my other microphone either, so I hope the sound works. Anyway, we're gonna put some fishing line on a reel, and I'm gonna open this box up because my wife said it's something cool. So let's see what we got in the box. My Father's Day gift. My Father's Day, and we got Piper. Yay, Piper. Piper said, "I'll help, Dad." Said, "I'm gonna help." Let's see what's in the box. I don't have a clue what's in the box, but it's my Father's Day. Which is usually something cool. But yeah, we're not in the boat for a change. We're actually like in the garage where we fix all our stuff. I don't know. I hope it's not some old man. Oh, it's a rocking chair. Right on. They make these rocking chairs. We saw them out when we were camping, last weekend, and they're comfortable. And I could get in and out of it, so I have a nice chair to sit in out at hunting camp. Because I'm getting to be the old man that's just going to sit and cook. Hey, how are you doing, Benjamin? Oh, wow, from Chile. That's awesome, man. One place I've never been that I've always wanted to go. I've been to, let's see, I've been to Brazil, to Sao Paulo, and I've been to Venezuela, and I've been to Argentina, but I haven't been on your side of South America, which would be really cool. Piper's helping. She said, "I'm gonna help, Dad." Yeah, my wife got me a cool rocking chair, and my dog's gonna take off with all the instructions. Come here, knucklehead. Let me have that break. Good girl. Instructions for a rocking chair. So anyway, like and subscribe. We're going fishing tomorrow morning. Go catch some more smallies. They really should be turned on. The weather, it rained yesterday. It got everything kind of muddy because that's just how it works in Idaho. But it'll clear up pretty quick. So if the carp will quit messing up our stuff. But anyway, my wife got me a heck of a good rocking chair. Watch out, knucklehead. But they're cool, man. They fold up. And if my dog doesn't take off with my pillow, no ma'am. Thank you, Piper. I appreciate the help, but I don't need it. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Come here, knucklehead. Come here, come here. This is Piper. She's getting big. Huh. See, that's Daddy's bird dog. So I'm a bird dog. Yes, I'm a bird dog, aren't you? She said, "I'm a bird dog. And my sister's a bird dog. And my other sister's a bird dog." Yep, good girl. Good girl. So anyway, I wanted to try this with the taller thing to see if it works. I appreciate the like and subscribe, share it. We do a lot of fishing and hunting and stuff, and pretty cool stuff. I'm gonna put line on a reel. I'm not gonna bore you with it because I know you guys know how to put line on a spinning reel, and if you don't, there's 250,000 ways to do it. I don't put it in water. I get my strand, because this is going, I'm putting monofilament on this one. On my ultralights, I use monofilament or fluorocarbon. I don't use braid on them. This rod was built for me by Lee Howard in North Carolina. It's called a Indian River Guide Series, Radar's Indian River Guide Series, because when I was guiding down there, we sold a bunch of these. They're awesome rods. I caught a 141-pound tarpon on 4-pound test with this ultralight rod. It took 3.5 hours. I was with Dick Beeson, the CEO for Kentucky Fried Chicken. He was a real good friend and a client, but also a friend. And we hooked that fish in Vero Beach, Florida. And I was just gonna break it off because I'm like, yeah, this is gonna take forever. He's like, no, I want to see you catch it. And I was a International Game Fish Association guide, like a was one of their representatives for Bethel, Alaska, and for Vero Beach, Florida. And so I knew it was a big fish, and I called them after we got it to the boat. I called Jim Brown at IGFA and said, hey, I got this tarpon. And this was back in the 90s. This was before cell phones like we have now. And we measured it, took the weight or the length and the girth, and the measurements he told me to get. And he said that fish would be between 141 and 162 pounds. And it beat the old record by like 20 something pounds. But I didn't want to kill the fish because I'd have had to kill her. And so we didn't want to do that. So we were like, well, we caught the record. Who cares? You know, it wasn't on a fly rod, which is what my world records were on, the 3 that I had. So anyway, these quantum reels, they don't make them anymore, but these Synergies have drags that are just absolutely smooth as silk. And if you flip the handbell, I mean, these are awesome little reels. They still make this, but it's not, you know, you can see how pretty they are. And they're tough. Like I say, this reel is probably, well, from like 1996 when we built these rods. So anyway, for you guys watching, I hope y'all are having a good day. If Sis is on there, love you, Sis. Go check out Granny's Southern Corner, the 3 of you that are watching. My sister's got a really cool channel, and we're kind of trying to work together. So if I go catch something, I'll show you how to clean it and get it ready to fix, and then she'll show you how to cook it, because, man, that woman can cook. It's unbelievable how she's just... I mean, my wife's out back playing with a sprinkler, and she's a good cook, but my sis, it's like, there ought to be a law against it, because it's like better than sex with most people food. It's just delicious. Anyway, so when you put this stuff on, again, I'm not going to bore you all with watching me put line on a reel, but what you want to do is you want to make sure when you pull the line off that it is going not clockwise but counterclockwise when it comes off. So you want to flip it over so that it goes counterclockwise. Some people say that you need to... Hello, I'm English. Cool. No, I'm not watching this. I don't blame you. I wouldn't either. This is like boring as hell. But I got to do it, so I figured I'd show people, save some time. But yeah, don't take it off where it's coming off clockwise. You want it coming off counterclockwise. And that way it'll spool up and you won't get all those big, you know, bird nests off the end of your, on your spinning reel. So anyway, I just went live for a few minutes here. If my sister's on, call me Hill from now on. Okay, Hill, that sounds good. How do you pronounce it? Would it be Hilo or just Hill? Hillo. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. We go fishing a lot. It's a hell of a lot more exciting than watching me put line on a reel. We're in the kitchen. We're in the, well, my kitchen. I cook a lot of things out here. We're in my garage. We just got done doing a whole bunch of work in here. I put all the walls in, and my Jeep, though, isn't happy because it's outside. It's a 73 Jeep CJ5, and it's not a happy Jeep because usually it's inside, even though it's a Jeep. I kind of like to keep it inside because the tires are super expensive now. But anyway, there we go. I'm going to put line on here. Sis, if you're on there, let me know real quick. Just because I got something I need to show you while we're on here. But yeah, you guys like and subscribe, and we do a lot of fun stuff. Tomorrow morning I'll go live probably about 6 a.m. our time, maybe 5:45, 6 o'clock Mountain Time here in the United States, and I'll be by myself. I was gonna take Cole Younger, who is at his age bracket. He is the world champion saddle bronc rider in the United States. The kids are awesome rodeo guys. Josh just took them on a bear hunt to Canada, and they all got a bear. They just got back day before yesterday. So he's bringing some meat over that we're going to process next week, and I'll probably film that too. I don't know if I can do it live, but I'll try. show you guys how to cut up some meat and get it processed for jerky and make jerky. But anyway, sis, where you at? So anyway, we're putting line on a reel, which, like I say, is boring as hell. We want it to come off counterclockwise. So we're gonna put this through here, and then we're gonna flip the bail, because I always forget to flip the bail. And then we're gonna make a loop. We're gonna make another loop. And all I do is I just tie a clinch knot, because if I get down to the bottom of this, I got bigger problems than people worry about tying the stuff on these spinning reels. So that let me turn this. And again, this is boring, man. I mean, I wouldn't buy it. I get it if you bail, because we're putting line on a spinning reel. But what I do is I just take and put a clinch knot on here. And as you can see, my bench is a mess because I've been fishing and I've got to change the oil on the generator. I got a lot of stuff to do that I've been putting off because I've been fishing. And when I'm not fishing, I'm usually recouping from fishing. Because at my age, I've had so many surgeries this year, it's a wonder I'm walking. So anyway, I just use a clinch knot, because it'll slide right down on here, and it's tight, and then I can spin this thing on and get the... My wife's hollering at the dog, calling the dog an asshole. So Piper must be doing something. What she got a hold of? Off the what? She got it off that thing again?
Yeah, well, she got one off, and I got it back from her and put it where she couldn't get it. So then she got the other one.
Wonderful. Oh, she got, yeah, I figured that was coming. So anyway, I got a clinch knot on there. I got this turned to where it's going to come off counterclockwise, not clockwise. Because you look at this, and when you spin it, it looks like it's, if you look down at it and you spin it, it looks like it's going clockwise. It's not, because when you turn it over and face it at this, it's actually coming off in the same direction that the line's coming off of there. So yeah, when I get done with this, it won't have a bunch of, and then I go up here and I put some pressure on it and just start taking line off. So if you get to a point where you see this start twisting, you can turn this over and it'll take that twist out. Because the whole problem with these things is you end up with a bunch of twist. And see, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's coming off nice and smooth. And it'll do that for a while, but just because of how the physics of it being put on the reel causes it to twist. And the other thing is, if y'all get in the habit of when you cast, don't cast and then crank it like that to set the bail. Get in the habit of when you throw it, of setting it with your hand. Just knock it down with your hand. That takes out a lot. It keeps it from twisting. It's a big deal. I very seldom have a twist problem because I've learned over the years. Back in the day, somebody told me that, and I got in the habit of flipping it with my hand. So I don't even, it's weird for me to do it with the handle. So anyway, we're going to take this off, check it. It's still coming off. It's starting to get a little tighter of a twist. So we'll flip it over here in a second. But anyway, and you don't want to fill these reels all the way up. That's the other thing. You see people and they'll fill a reel up and they've got it like right to the edge so that when the first couple casts, it's going to blow off a bunch of line. So you want to get it about an eighth of the of the distance. You want it about 1/8 back in. You don't want to go all the way to the edge. Plus, this is 6-pound test. This reel will hold like 320 yards of 6-pound test, because even though it's an ultralight reel, it's got a deep spool on it. So anyway, and then we're going to check this. It's still doing pretty good, but I'm going to go ahead and flip it over just to get that little bit of twist out of there. And you know you're going too fast if it's burning your fingers as it goes through. So you don't need to haul ass with it. It's not going anywhere. And see, the twist is actually getting worse because I flipped it, but it'll take off the twist. It'll take that little bit of twist it was getting out, but now I should be able to finish the reel without having to flip it again. But anyway, yeah, this is boring as hell. I guess some people enjoy watching this, and if you do, I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. We do a lot of hunting and fishing. My sister does a lot of cooking. I'm kind of waiting for her to get on there because I got some baits I wanted to show her. But so yeah, we're about to where we want to be with this, and that's plenty. But see, when I let it go, a lot of times when you put a spinning reel together, you put line on it, when you get done and you pull this down, it'll want to spool off of there. That's because you didn't flip that and put it on right. I have one of those things you put the reel on and you're supposed to put that in and it's supposed to twist and do all this stuff. And it works. It's just, it's a pain in the butt to get these spools to stay on it. So this works fine for me. I've been fishing, I'm 61. I was sneaking out of the house in first grade or in second grade to go fishing. So I've been fishing a long time. And this has always worked. And Stren, awesome line. I don't use a lot of monofilament anymore these days, but I do on my ultralights because braid is really hard on a reel and a rod because it's just, there's no give to it. So it's really hard on the drag. So when if you put braid on one of these reels won't last near as long as they do if you use monofilament or fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon's still harder on them than monofilament because fluorocarbon doesn't stretch either. So Stren, the Trilene, I've used it because I've used just about every line out there, and the Trilene seems to keep a memory a lot worse than the Stren does. So Stren's good stuff. Somebody told me they quit making it. My buddy went into Sportsman's Warehouse to get some. They told him they quit making it. Sold him some like $15 or $17 little spool, $17 a P-line fluorocarbon. And I'm like, no, they didn't quit making Stren. We just got to find it, which kind of ticked me off because it's like Sportsman's Warehouse. If you don't carry it anymore, just tell them you don't carry it. Don't say, oh, they quit making it. Here, buy this. I mean, this line's a good line, but it's fluorocarbon. And where we're fishing and stuff, monofilament's actually pretty good, especially the Stren. It stretches, so when you set the hook, it's a little bit different than braid. And for people that don't fish a lot, it'll keep them from ripping the hook out of the mouth of the fish. Because when you're using braid, I got to turn my drags way back so they're real light. So when you set the hook, it doesn't rip the hook out of the mouth of the fish, because the Gamakatsu hooks that are on these baits I'm using, it's just absolutely, they're sharp. Like you get one in your finger and it's like through your finger. So anyway, this is good fluorocarbon. It's just, there's no sense in him spending $17. So I have another rod that I'm going to put together here in a minute, because I'm going fishing in the morning. So if you guys want to go with me in the morning, like and subscribe. I figured out how to do the deal where you actually can schedule it. So I'll schedule it so you guys know I'm coming, and I will have the boat in the water and should be out catching fish by 6 a.m. and probably fish for a few hours because we've been tearing the bass up. But anyway, so I got this little ultralight here, and then I'm going to turn the camera because I'm going to walk back. I'm going to show you how I put a leader on here, and then I'm going to show, my sister was asking me about some baits because they're going to Sebastian Inlet in Florida, which is a place we used to fish a lot when I was a kid. Good fishing. There's a campground there called Long Point, and they're going there. So I was going to show her the baits that I use down there. I hope everybody's having a good evening. We're just kind of hanging out, being groovy, and I think this is it. We gotta look. After guiding and being sponsored by so many people, I have so many baits. This one is, let's see, bass baits for Florida. Somewhere I have a Cody jig bag that has the baits in them that my sister needs. So let me see where that's at. I'm making a mess, dropping shit, and I'm old. So let's see. Yep, that's them. Yeah, I got more baits and stuff. My friends will call me, or they're going fishing. what bait should I use when I go buy. I'm like, don't go buy anything. Come to my house and just grab some of this, because I was sponsored by a lot of people. T-Bore Reels, Ted Jurassic, get Graphite USA fly rods, Maverick boats, Yamaha motors. Back in the day, I was kind of like a thing in fly fishing, but I also fished bass tournaments, so I got a lot of free stuff. But if my sister's on, which one's better, big mouth bass or 20-pound bluegill? Yeah, if somebody catch a 20-pound bluegill, that'd be awesome. But I'd rather catch a largemouth. Although I did catch a bunch of perch the other day. I've never done that. I was throwing an ultralight with a little different bait. I was throwing this ultralight, which is a Fenwick. This is a Fenwick rod. This wasn't a custom rod, but it still was like 230 bucks, because Fenwicks are expensive. And they're a little bit flimsier than I like. This one that Lee made me's got a lot more backbone to it. But I was using this bait, which we use on Lake Harris. I'd use that on Lake Harris after I threw top water in the morning, because there's a big shad bite that goes on Lake Harris in Florida. And I thought, you know what, I bet these smallmouths would eat it. So I was throwing this with this rod that has 4-pound test on it. And I caught like 20 perch. And I'm not a perch fisherman. I've never even eaten one. But somebody told me they're delicious. They taste like crappie, which specks are, you know, crappie in some parts of the country, but we call them crappie where we come from, or specks. And I caught like a bunch of perch on this thing. So I was like, well, I know what to go use if I wanted to go perch fishing. And my wife and I were talking about it. We're going to have to go catch a bunch and just go ahead and clean them and eat them, because they're not very big. I mean, the biggest one I caught the other day was probably like 9 inches, maybe 10 inches. So... But yeah, I'm going to use my ultralights, because I like throwing my bait casters. But, so anyway, sis, what I was going to show you, I was kind of hoping, if you're on there, say hey. If you're not, you're going to have to watch this later. But this is a Cody jig, and that's the one that I use. And if you just throw it out there and reel it in, like throw it out, and just kind of pull it up and drop it, reel down, pull it up and drop it and reel down. It's just a shrimp pattern. And I have some of the actual real, I don't know, let me see where I find the camera, the Cody jig. It's an actual Cody tail. They quit making those things about 20 years ago. And I got a bag full of them, because, man, when I found them, I grabbed them, because these things are awesome. But yeah, Tracy, you and Dwayne Allen, my brother-in-law, throw these Cody jigs. You could find these heads. You could get those at Walmart there, probably, or any, you know, the fishing store down there, Wabasso, if it's still there. You could get them there. The tails, this was a DOA, makes kind of a knockoff tail. And you could get these in Florida, but get them in that green color, because that's what I was catching all those fish on down there in Florida. Like that, I've caught huge snook on this thing. Big sea trout, all kinds of good stuff. And it'll catch bass out here, because it's a grass shrimp pattern. There's any place in the United States where there's water, there's shrimp in there. So these are awesome baits. And they've got super sharp hooks. They're just great. That's another tip. When you go to check your hooks, if you want to see if they're sharp, just take and put it on your thumbnail. And if it catches, it's sharp. You can see when I drag it, it scratches it. That's a sharp hook. So that'll tell you if your hooks are sharp. But yeah, Tracy, Cody jig, I use them in a 1/4 ounce, because that's got plenty. It'll cast, especially with an ultralight. And I like throwing these on these ultralight rods, because there's pictures somewhere on some of the magazines I've done of me hooking into a big snook with one of those with an ultralight right at sunset. It's actually a really cool picture. And then the other bait that I use down there with the ultralight rod, but you could use it with anything, because again, my sister was asking me about this. This is a topwater mirror lure, and it is, I forgot what number it is. It's like a TT 1902 or something, but it's a mullet. It's just a blackback mullet, and you can see the size of it. It's like 3 inches, 3.5 inch bait. If y'all use this on long point, especially right at dark or after dark, and you just walk the dog with it, so when you reel it, you want to jerk the rod tip, so you just have it going through the water, walking the dog, it'll do this. And I caught all those big sea trout that I've caught. I caught an 11-pound sea trout on my ultralight rod with that. and throwing top water with an ultralight, people will tell you it can't be done, but you catch a lot of fish with that. Again, out here in Idaho, we've been using a live pointer. So I'm gonna throw, because I'm using 6-pound test monofilament, and I'm gonna be fishing a lot of rocks tomorrow in Lake Alexander here in Idaho. I'm going to put a 15-pound Seaguar fluorocarbon leader on there. And the reason I do that is because monofilament and rocks, you know, that's why I use braid a lot out here, because we have a lot of rocks. So I'm going to pull off a section that's, you know, about 22 inches, 21 inches. And this Seaguar monofilament, there's 50 yards in here. Yeah, 50 yards, and it was like $40. I mean, it's literally like $1 a yard, but it's super strong and it's clear. I know a lot of you that fish know this, that fluorocarbon will sink where monofilament floats, and fluorocarbon is completely invisible in water. So some people will argue this with me about using braid with a fluorocarbon leader, and it depends on how clear the water is, whether I do it or not, because the school of thought is, and it's true, that every knot I have is a weak point. So a lot of guys will just use straight braid and just go with it. And I think you miss some hits because of that, especially in clearer water. So the reason I'm using this fluorocarbon leader today is because I want to make sure I have some kind of shock tippet on with my monofilament. So I don't know if y'all could see this. I tried to wear this shirt because I thought maybe you could see it. I use a double uni knot. There's 1,000 knots out there, and people will say, oh, well, you should use this knot. You use whatever knot you're confident in and comfortable tying, because I've never had a polymer knot fail. I haven't had one of these uni knots fail. I've had, usually the line breaks before these knots give. But what I'm doing is I make a loop. I'll show you on the other one because I kind of got started here. You make a loop and you wrap the monofilament 6 times through the loop. And what I'm doing is I'm doubling the line over. You can see here's the fluorocarbon, here's the monofilament. So I'm tying the monofilament side. I made a loop, and I'm just taking this tag end of the monofilament, and I went 6 times. Then lick it so you don't get a lot of friction, because it'll burn the line, and then pull it down tight. I don't know if you can see that, but it kind of pulls down. Now that'll slide. Like, I can slide that, okay? So then what I do is I turn this over, I get all the twist out of it. And again, yeah, I know this is boring. You could go online on YouTube, and there are 2 million videos on how to tie these knots. And this is a double uni knot. And then now I turn it around, and normally I'd take the rod and I'd put it over here to make it easier on my old man fingers. But I'm just going to have to pull this out some so y'all can see this. Anyway, so now I take the monofilament side of this. Here, that'll work. I take the fluorocarbon side, I've got my 1 uni knot over here. So I pull this down so there's a little bit of a gap in there. And then I take this, and since I did 6 on the monofilament side, I'm going to do 5 on this side. So that's 2. I know, boring, watching some old man tie knots. And there's one guy, I forgot who he is on YouTube, but he has it over a yellow back thing when he ties these, so you can really see what he's doing. 5. Like I said, I went 6 on the monofilament side. I'm going 5 on this side. Same thing. When I get them done, I have this loop that looks like that. Lick it, and then pull it tight. And again, usually I've got this way over there, so it's a little bit easier. But at this knot, like I said, I've never had one break. And you could tie it in the wind if you have to, but there's other knots you could do that are easier. And then lick it again, and then you pull those 2 down, and see as they get to each other, it's going to really pull that down and cinch it on itself. And before I get it super tight, I take one end, the tag end, and I pull it tight, and then I grab the other tag end, and your dentist will have a fit about you doing this, and I pull it tight, and then I cinch it down again. And that knot's not going anywhere. So now what I've got is 6-pound monofilament to 15-pound shock tippet, which is fluorocarbon. And then I'm going to trim these tag ends off as close as I can. And the other thing that some people do, and I've done it in tournaments because it's just easier on the guides. And in tournaments, I used to fish so fast I wasn't paying attention. I didn't want to tear stuff up. You take a little bit of fingernail polish and coat that knot with it, and it makes it smoother. Like you kind of brush it on there and make it smooth. It'll go through the guides easier. But man, these people are tying these FE knots or whatever it is, and I've got guide buddies that are all big on that FJ or FE or whatever it's called knot, and it takes forever to tie. And I mean, if you're comfortable with a knot and you're confident in it, that's the big thing. Is I'm so confident that knot, that something else is going to break before that knot does. So now we have our monofilament, which is 6-pound test. We have our 15-pound fluorocarbon, and I'll show y'all what I'm going to throw tomorrow on that. I might throw that top water, just because it's fun to catch them on that thing out there. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I've been wanting to try this mullet lure out here. I know it'll catch fish, because I'm still trying to catch an 8-pound smallmouth. So this is the lure that I just told my sister, if you're on there, sis, that's the one you want to use. You could buy those at Walmart, or Bass Pro probably has them down there in Palm Bay. And a Cody jig. And get the DOA tails, because you're not going to find the Cody tails unless you got on eBay and got lucky, because I've got on eBay and got lucky and got a huge bag of them. So anyway, and they make them in different colors. Like this is one that's got a little more red in it, obviously. Same black back, looks like a mullet that's bleeding. I've caught just as many on the non-bleeding ones as I have the bleeding ones. So anyway, I had to downsize. I have so many bags of bait that it was like I had to do something different. So anyhow, now that we have our fluorocarbon leader, we're going to do a polymer knot. I don't use snap swivels. A lot of people out here in Idaho use a snap swivel, and it's so they can change baits really quickly. I could probably back this up a little bit so I'm not standing right on top of you guys. Sorry about the shake. Anyhow, a lot of people use the they use a snap swivel so they can change baits quickly. And I'm here to tell you, if they're not, I use a live pointer and I use a topwater lure. And in Florida on Indian River, I caught 2 world records out there on a fly rod. I use 1 or 2 flies, because if they're not hitting that, they're not eating. And out here, if they're not hitting a live pointer, they're not eating. There's no sense in going bait to bait to bait to bait to bait. I mean, if you do that, then yeah, put a snap swivel on there, but I feel like a snap swivel impedes your lure action, because you got this big old silver thing hanging off of here. Anyway, so a polymer knot is, I make a loop, and again, you can go on YouTube. There's a bazillion places that show you how to tie a knot, but I just use a polymer knot. Make a loop through there, feed it over the bait, which is really kind of fun. And I've never had a polymer knot break. And with fluorocarbon or braid, you have to use a polymer knot or a knot like that, a clench knot on braid, or with I also want to make sure I'm not right on that on the swivel that's on there, the little O-ring. I don't want to cinch it down where the O-ring has a break in it. But anyway, this knot I haven't had break. But use what you're comfortable with. So what I end up with is I have a very short shock tippet. And the whole reason behind that is I'm used to catching snook that have this gill plate that's like a razor, like a serrated razor. And that I was using fluorocarbon tippets when I caught those fish, because monofilament just wouldn't take the beating probably. And then again, trim the tag in off close. Tell the dog. She's like, oh, are we going fishing, Dad? Huh? We're going fishing? Anyhow, So yeah, now I have new line on my rod. I have it all set to go. Because I come home from work. What are you doing, baby? You come out, you get love? Yes. Piper says you're not paying attention to me, Dad. No, I got a bone. Good girl, break. Sit. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Back. Whoops. She's going to knock the camera over. Anyway, usually when I get home from fishing, I will do all of this because I don't want to have to mess with doing it the morning before I go. But I got home yesterday from fishing. I had a doctor's appointment and I had a bunch of crap going on. So I was like, you know what, I'll just do this later. And of course I got this wrapped around the back of the reel, which is no big deal. I just got to pull it off of there. There we go. Anyhow, we got to be careful with the lures because the puppy is still not quite, she's still not sure about that. See that? Phooey. Phooey. That's bad girl. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. She's like, yep, I won't mess with it, Dad. Because we don't need a dog with a hook in her head. Anyhow, it's good to go. I just got to put a lure keeper on there and that rod's ready to go. So tomorrow morning, like and subscribe, and we'll be fishing Lake Alexander, and come with us. It's cool. I'll be by myself. Like I said, I was gonna have Cole Younger go with me, but we got a bunch of meat to process, so he's gonna have to go to Pokey and do some other stuff tomorrow. But sis, if you got on here, go back and watch it. I put the lures on there that I was using. This is only like 37 minutes long. So thanks for watching. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate that. Again, tomorrow we'll be live doing something fun instead of standing out here, you know, putting line on a reel. You can see behind me is 90 in this garage. Like, it's Idaho and it's summer and it warmed up and it's really nice. So we do as much fishing as we possibly can. God bless you all. Love you. Thanks for hanging on, the one guy, and we will see you guys later. Have a wonderful evening.